After the crown prince woke up, he became Tang Bao, the foolish son of the village chief's family. Although his quality of life plummeted, there were many more people who truly loved him. Especially that handsome educated youth, Zixuan. Chapter 1. Acupoint Fixation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My poor treasure. Oh my goodness. It's unreasonable. The educated youth from the city are bullying the poor. A cry echoed like a September thunder throughout the entire Tangjia village. Tang Bao closed his eyes, his face pale, and his delicate eyebrows furrowed. I feel even more displeased in my heart. Who dares to disturb me to sleep in this hall without having long eyes? Let this hall know that we must punish you for brushing the bucket for a few months. Tang Bao's mother, don't just cry. Hurry up and ask Dr. Hu to show you the blood on that head. A kind-hearted villager reminded the onlookers. This is already foolish, isn't it even more foolish now? Someone whispered, but dared not let Tang Bao's mother Wang hear. Firstly, this person is sharp and doesn't want others to say that her son is foolish. Secondly, her man Tang Yinshan is not easy to offend the village chief. Doctor Hu is here, make way. A strong voice sounded from behind the crowd, and the onlookers quickly parted ways to make way. Doctor Hu, hurry up and save my treasure. He's almost exhausted. Wang shouted with a runny nose and tears as her eldest son brought the doctor. Doctor Hu put down the medicine box and saw Tang Bao in Wang arms with a blood-stained and solemn expression on his face. You put the person down first. I don't. I'm afraid my treasure's soul will fly away as soon as I let go. Mother. You're in a hurry. It's all feudal superstition. Put your younger brother down quickly and don't delay Doctor Hu's rescue. Tang Bao's elder brother Tang Youcai is 10 years older than Tang Bao, and he is 29 years older this year. Upon hearing Wang words, he quickly reconciled. His father is the village chief, and his mother cannot be caught in a small braid. Wang also realized and reluctantly placed Tang Bao on the ground. Doctor Hu quickly examined, cleaned the wound, stopped bleeding, and wrapped it in one go. Alright, luckily I hit it wrong, only scratched a hole. After resting for a few days, I'll be fine. Remember not to touch the wound with water. As for a light diet, there is no need to advise. Nowadays, every poor family is almost gnawing on tree roots, and it is difficult to think about a light diet. Wang quickly hugged Tang Bao and carefully placed his head on her arm, being careful not to touch the wound behind her head. Lu Zhiqing, what exactly is going on? Tang Jiawang is a person in the village who specializes in managing educated youth. He is well aware of Wang temperament and often bullies those foreign educated youth. Although Tang Bao's injury is a fact, and Lu Zixuan's assault is also a fact, he still needs to ask and cannot just listen to Wang one-sided words. What else could it be? My treasure is so well behaved, it must be this person surnamed Lu who doesn't do anything. Look at my treasure's clothes, big guy. Only then did everyone turn their gaze to Tang Bao's clothes. Previously, they only focused on seeing his face covered in blood. As Wang reminded them, oh. Good guy. These clothes are so torn that they can hardly fit on. Everyone was in an uproar and immediately began to discuss. Why does Lu Zhiqing look so quiet and literary on a regular basis? Oh, my eyes can't see, can't they? I still want to introduce my niece to him, isn't that pushing her into the pit of fire? On weekdays, Lu Zixuan works silently with his head down, so he doesn't have much interaction with those educated youth. They also enjoy watching the excitement. However, a girl gritted her teeth and said, "You're talking nonsense. Brother Lu is not that kind of person." Wang saw that someone dared to speak up for the culprit. She turned her head and saw, isn't this the educated youth Shang Wenwen that her precious son usually likes to stick to? You're so good, Shang Wenwen. It's fortunate that my treasure treats you so well and doesn't forget to give you anything delicious. You actually speak for that killer. Are you interested in that little white face? Wang Dia suddenly became furious. Shang Wenwen's eyes were filled with tears and she felt extremely aggrieved, but her face turned slightly red from Wang Dia's words. The beautiful woman was delicate and weak with tears in her eyes, with a pitiful appearance, which naturally made some people feel aggrieved. Auntie, the little girl just said that. Don't catch anyone criticizing anyone, let's hurry and send Tang Bao back. I haven't even mentioned you, dog egg. I work for other girls' educated youth every day. Why, is your family so idle? Is it because you have less assigned work or are you interested in other girls' educated youth? Dog Egg's mother quickly grabbed her ear and dragged the person away. She couldn't afford to provoke Wang Dia, let alone see her son get involved with that pretentious female educated youth. She was still waiting for her son to see the girl from the neighboring village in a few days. Something's wrong with Lu Zhiqing. Someone suddenly shouted. Everyone looked over and saw that Lu Zixuan's face turned red, his pupils dilated, and a low growl came from his mouth. Suddenly, his strength was surprisingly strong, requiring 3 or 4 people to hold him down. Oh my God, he can't be crazy, can he? Last year, I heard that there was an educated youth in the neighboring village who was like this and even killed someone in the end. Everyone took a few steps back in unison. Doctor Hu, please take a look. You guys have held down the people, Tang Jiawang quickly said. Doctor Hu went forward to check and gave him a pill. He took that kind of medicine, hurry up and take it to the hospital. If it's too late, there won't be any help. What kind of medicine? Tang Jiawang didn't understand. It's the medicine for SOS, said Doctor Hu, his face flushed with shame. Tang Jiawang's face changed. Lu Zhiqing had been tricked by someone, and if something happened, his administrator would also be implicated. That person must not be Tang Bao. Tang Bao is a fool, and everyone knows. He scanned around and decided to save the person first. Dog Egg, hurry up and set up the ox cart. You tens of millions have held him down, Tang Jiawang ordered and said to everyone, let's all disperse. Everyone reluctantly went back to their respective homes, and the cracks in the doors of several nearby houses were covered, while the people inside continued to watch the excitement through the cracks. At this moment, Tang Bao's father Tang Yinshan finally arrived panting heavily. Wang Dia was about to file a complaint, but he stopped her with a dark face and looked at Tang Jiawang with questioning eyes. Tang Jiawang briefly said that Tang Yinshan is also very dignified. If something happens to Lu Zixuan, can he continue to work as the village head? Without further ado, there will definitely be no advanced villages by the end of the year. Save people first. If the health center doesn't work, go directly to the county hospital, Tang Yinshan immediately made a decision. Village chief, a delicate and gentle female voice sounded. The road is too far, Brother Lu may not be able to sustain it, otherwise. I'll detoxify Brother Lu. Shang Wenwen's voice was as low as a mosquito or fly in the end, and she shyly lowered her head. Nonsense. One incident is already chaotic enough. Tang Yinshan scolded. Wang Dia was a bit far away and didn't hear what Shang Wenwen was saying, otherwise she would have been furious. You can't just let go of someone surnamed Lu like this, he must lose money. Wang Dia shouted rudely and without reason. Compensation. Is 2 yuan enough? The village chief, hurry up and send him to the hospital. Tang Jiawang was so anxious. At this moment, Tang Bao also opened his eyes and looked at the person holding him weakly, saying, Mother. Yes, not enough. Wang Dia only realized after finishing speaking and looked down at her own son waking up. Mother's treasure, you finally woke up. Does the wound still hurt? Wang Dia reached out to touch Tang Bao's head. Tang Bao instinctively dodged the rough and dirty short hand that was reaching out, and suddenly jumped up. Where did you come from? How dare you touch him with such dirty hands? Wang Dia's hand was still unresponsive. Tang Bao jumped directly to Lu Zixuan. Tang Bao saw that Lu Zixuan's handsome face was abnormally flushed, his eyes were sparkling, his eyebrows were full of spring, and his lips were bitten and bleeding, indicating that he was trying his best to control it. Interesting. Tang Bao chuckled and quickly tapped Lu Zixuan's waist and abdomen with his fair and chubby little hand. What's going on? Tang Bao let out a mournful cry in his heart, just fixing his acupoint. Why can't he hold on anymore? When did his body collapse like this? Before he could finish thinking, he fainted brilliantly. Although Lu Zixuan's face remained flushed after being pointed twice by Tang Bao, his eyes regained clarity. Seeing Tang Bao falling in front of him, Lu Zixuan's expression was complex. Chapter 2. Enlightenment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Tang Bao woke up again, he felt like he was in a dream, looking at the pitch-black adobe house, the dirty and tidy small room, and the dim yellow lights, with an unreal feeling. With a creaking sound, the door was pushed open. Mother, my second brother is awake. Tang Bao's younger sister, Tang Youhui, is 13 this year. When she saw Tang Bao open her eyes, she immediately retracted her legs halfway in and turned around to call out to Wang Dia. Wang Dia walked in with great enthusiasm, still holding a tattered bowl in her hand. Bao, how are you? Are you hungry? Wang Dia handed the broken bowl to Tang Bao. Inside was a dark puddle of water with 2 poached eggs, and Tang Youhui beside her stared at the bowl and chattered. Tang Bao looked at the woman who looked the same as his mother but had grown much older, and a strange memory gradually revived in his mind. That memory was fragmented, like a little baby who had just remembered something. He knew that the woman in front of him was the mother of his body. As for what kind of world this is and where he is, there is no memory at all. It seems that the original owner is a fool. Mother. Tang Bao weakly probed and shouted. Bao. What are you talking about? Wang Dia couldn't believe her ears, and some sugar water was spilled in the bowl. Tang Youhui felt heartbroken and quickly took the bowl. Mother. Tang Bao shouted sharply again, his voice getting louder. Although she is not the same person as the Empress Dowager, from the memory of the original owner, she knows that her love for the original owner is no less than that of the Empress Dowager for herself. Tang Bao sighed in his heart, wondering what kind of sadness his mother would have felt if she had known he could leave his soul even after sleeping. Never mind, let's settle for it as soon as we come. Fortunately, there is a mother here who looks the same as his mother and treats him as a precious treasure. Wang Dia, however, excitedly hugged him and cried, saying, My treasure, how are you? Call me Nyang again. Mother. Tang Bao surrounded Wang Dia and closed his eyes to feel the identical maternal love. Wang Dia did not have the unpleasant smell he had imagined, but instead had a faint aroma of soap and fireworks. Tang Bao, are you really not stupid? Tang Youhui was so excited that she forgot to call out her second brother. Wang Dia gave her a bad pat and angrily said, Call me second brother. Who said my treasure is a fool? My treasure is that big fish. Tang Youhui was used to being patted by Wang Dia and was not afraid. She smiled and said, Mother. That's called the Jiruoyu. Although Wang Dia likes her son, especially Tang Bao, she does not prioritize men over women like others. Tang Youhui went to school as soon as she was old. She had already started junior high school in the county this year and lived with her elder sister Tang Eugene, who had married into the county town. Today is the weekend. As soon as Tang Youhui entered the village, she heard that her silly second brother had been beaten up. She is the youngest in the family and has regarded her second brother as her younger brother since childhood. Tang Youhui didn't even have time to put down her backpack and went to see Tang Bao. However, as soon as she entered the door, she found Tang Bao awake, so she quickly went out to call him his mother. Now seeing that the second brother of the fool is no longer foolish feels particularly novel, and for a moment, he becomes arrogant and forgets that his mother dislikes being called the second brother of the fool, and is slapped. Mom, do you think it might be because second brother's head was knocked open? Do we still have to thank Lu Zhiqing? Tang Youhui chuckled as she finished speaking. Wang Dia's sharp gaze swept over, and Tang Youhui quickly put down the egg syrup, sprinkled yazi, and ran. Mom, I'll go and watch the fire in the stove. Humph, little bunny. Thank him. I wish I could give him a hard hit on the head. Wang Dia gritted her teeth and then looked at Tang Bao with love. The speed of her face change was not bad. Bao, are you hungry? Eat the eggs quickly. Wang Dia kindly brought the bowl over. Tang Bao struggled to wriggle his throat as he looked at the dark and sugary water, as well as the broken bowl with a missing mouth. Although disgusted, it seems like this is a good thing here. In his memory, he loves to eat this the most and often gives it to a female educated youth. That female educated youth is the most memorable person besides his mother. It seems that many children were calling him a fool to bully him at that time, and the female educated youth spoke a few words for him. As for what to say, he can't quite remember, but he trusts her very much. However, Tang Bao, who had changed his heart, saw through the true face of the female educated youth at a glance. From the fact that she has been asking Tang Bao for things all along, it can be seen that she is not a good person. What she wants the most is this kind of thing called eggs. Tang Bao took the bowl and took a sip of the sugar water, which was not as sweet as it looked. I took a small bite of the egg again, and the egg white was a bit strong, with a fragrance and sweet sugar water. The taste was surprisingly good. Tang Bao finished a boiled egg, drank half a bowl of sugar water, and handed the bowl to Wang Dia. Mother, eat. Tang Bao looked at his body and found that at the age of 19, Bai Jing, who had been raised, was slightly overweight. So Wang Dia should be about the same age as her mother, but she is much older than her mother, probably due to labor and malnutrition. Mother is not hungry, Bao eats quickly, and everyone recovers quickly after eating. Wang Dia looked excited. Usually, Tang Bao only gives food to others after he has eaten enough himself, but now he knows to let her eat it. It seems that he is really good. God, open his eyes. Mother, eat. Tang Bao pouted with tears in his eyes and used a trick to deal with his mother. Okay, Mom, eat. Wang Dia bit off half an egg, giggling while chewing, as if eating some delicacies. Bao, do you still have a headache? If it hurts, come and see Doctor Hu. It doesn't hurt anymore, but it seems like I can't remember many things clearly. The past was always vague. Can you tell me something, Mom? Wang Dia thought to herself, I used to be a fool, it would be strange if I could remember clearly. However, it must have been her sincerity that moved the immortals that her son benefited from misfortune. Tomorrow, she must secretly go to He Xiangu's place to fulfill her wish. He Xiangu used to be the person who worshipped immortals in their village. Anyone in the village who lost something or fell ill would always go to find her. Later, the four olds were broken, and feudal superstition was no longer allowed on them. But there are also people secretly looking for it. Wang Dia asked Tang Youhui to watch the fire, and when the food was ready, she brought it out. She also sat on the edge of the Kong to tell Tang Bao about his affairs, but most of them were his past embarrassing experiences. From these things, Tang Bao also analyzed the current situation in detail. Most people in Tangjia village have the surname Tang. Several families who previously fled and settled here live at the end of the village, while some educated youth who came to the countryside live in the educated youth point at the entrance of the village. Tangjia village is backed by a big mountain and faces the Tangshui River in front. It takes 3 to 4 hours to walk from the county, and the road is rugged. The best transportation in the village is the production team's ox cart, and the cowshed is located at the end of the village near the mountain. Tang Bao's father is the village chief and has great prestige. Under his leadership, Tang family village has always been an advanced village. However, if something like this happens this year, it may be difficult. The two of them were talking, and before they knew it, it was getting dark. Tang Bao's big brother and sister-in-law had all returned from work. Big brother Tang Youcai could have found a job in the county town after graduating from high school, but somehow he slept with his sister-in-law Yang. Playing hooligans in this era can lead to execution, and one must return to the village to marry Yang. Yang's ancestral home is in the neighboring village, but she has little contact with the Tang Bao family now. As for why the elder brother didn't take his sister-in-law to Tang Bao in the county town, it's unknown. Yang entered the house and saw her sister-in-law watching the fire. She knew that Wang Dia had gone to take care of that fool again. Looking at the bowl with a hint of egg blossom on the pot, her heart was filled with sour water. Sigh. It's really different fate for the same person. Some people don't have to do anything and eat spicy food all day long. Yang deliberately spoke very loudly. Sister-in-law, my second brother was injured today, and my mother made him a bowl of egg water to supplement his nutrition. Tang Youhui couldn't stand her sister-in-law's strange behavior, afraid that she and my mother would argue again, so she quickly explained. Hurt. How much did it cost to see a doctor? Did that person lose money? Yang's voice increased a lot, and she lowered her voice to add, is the injury serious? Tang Youhui gave him a blank glance as she tidied up the dishes and ignored him. Tang Youcai was very worried and walked directly to Tang Bao's house. Mother, I heard that my second younger brother was injured by someone. What's going on? Tang Youcai lifted the door curtain and entered the room, but the person arrived before they could hear it. Wang Dia's conversation was interrupted by Yang's strange voice just now. Seeing Tang Youcai come in, Wang Dia didn't look good either. Tang Youcai didn't take it amiss and stepped forward as usual to hug Tang Bao. Tang Bao suddenly hid behind Wang Dia, it was really deadly. Although this man was decent in appearance, the smell on his body was really unpleasant. Being held by him saved half of his life. Tang Youcai withdrew his hand and looked at Wang Dia in confusion, waiting for her to explain. Wang Dia patted Tang Bao, stood up and adjusted his clothes. She looked up and said loudly, I have good news for you. Tang Bao is doing well. All right. It was only this morning, the evening was fine. Tang Yinshan also walked in and asked in confusion. What do you know? Wang Dia glared at him, our treasure has been beaten in the head, and he has gained enlightenment from misfortune. What? Tang Bao is not stupid anymore. Yang crawled in. How can Tang Bao not be foolish? If he gets better, wouldn't he have to marry him again and divide the family property? It's hard to say, he still has to go to school. How much does that cost? Yang has a toothache just thinking about it. You're stupid, your whole family is stupid. You're a spendthrift. Get out of here. Wang Dia knew what Yang was thinking as soon as she saw her expression. She grabbed the broom on the Kong and threw it over. Tang Youcai took the broom and pushed Yang out. Mom, you're not angry. Tang Bao saw that Wang Dia was really angry and quickly gave her some comfort. Good baby, my mother is not angry. Wang Dia suddenly lost half of her anger, and her youngest son was still considerate, knowing that she felt sorry for her. Wang Dia proudly glanced at Tang Yinshan, who ignored her and instead stared at Tang Bao carefully. Is this really good? Tang Yinshan's face was also full of joy. This foolish son of his own worries him a lot. I think Tang Bao was born with a chubby boy who was white and pure, carved with jade carving. He returned from the military due to injury when Tang Bao was 3 years old. He spent all his family's savings and borrowed foreign debts everywhere to see a doctor. Later, Tang Baofa had a high fever, and they could no longer borrow money, causing such a lovely child to become foolish with fever. My daughter-in-law has been treating Tang Bao like a sore eyeball for so many years, not necessarily because of guilt. Now that my child suddenly recovers, it is truly a great joy. Take out the wine, I'll have 2 drinks tonight, Tang Yinshan said joyfully. Drink. Exactly, take them all out and let the boss drink some too. Wang Dia waved her hand and took out the key to the small cabinet, but she still didn't give it to Tang Yinshan. The small cabinet is in the corner of the room. Wang Dia went to open the cabinet and took out a small bottle of baijiu. Tang Yinshan happily held the wine and went out. Bao, can I bring it in for you to eat? Tang Bao's body was indeed weak, and he didn't want to see Yang Hong. So he nodded and agreed. Wang Dia happily went out, and Tang Yinshan and Yi had already finished drinking. On the table was a plate of scrambled eggs and a pot of stewed potato and carrot chunks. Wang Dia picked up a bowl and pulled away 2/3 of the eggs, put some potatoes in it, and brought a large bowl of congee into the house. Yang Hong's angry eyes turned red. She really wanted to throw chopsticks and stop eating, but it was herself who didn't eat. She wasn't so foolish. So thinking, Yang Hong also put a big chopsticks and eggs into the congee and stirred them hard. Tang Yinshan frowned and remained silent, but his excitement had decreased significantly just now. Chapter 3. Sleep on your own. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Hong lowers her head and drinks the congee with eggs into her stomach after a few mouthfuls. She doesn't look at other people's eyes at all. After finishing eating, she goes into her own room. When Wang Dia came out, she saw the 2 of them drinking alcohol with potatoes and radishes, with no smiles on their faces. A little puzzled, he asked, "What's wrong with this? Oh, why is this egg eaten so fast? Oh. The plate is cleaner than the brush." Wang Dia is not stupid, on the contrary, she is very intelligent. She guessed what was going on in a flash and stretched her neck to shout at her eldest son's house. Yang Hong only ignored Wang Dia when she had enough to eat and drink, and felt guilty. In addition, Wang Dia didn't want to argue with Yang Hong today, so the family war didn't start. Tang Yuhui pursed her mouth and lowered her head to grab rice, while Tang Youcai seemed accustomed to such things. Her face didn't turn red and her heart didn't jump as she drank wine. Tang Yinshan said lightly, "Can't you come out and eat the treasure? Baotou has a headache, how can you have the strength to come out and eat?" Wang Dia was successfully distracted and put down her empty bowl and chopsticks, sitting next to Tang Yinshan. Tang Yuhui didn't have much silk congee after salvaging the pan bottom, so he had to put a bowl of porridge in front of Wang Dia. Wang Dia didn't mind either, and she drank half a bowl in one gulp with her mouth wide open. The child's father, "What's wrong with that Lu Zhiqing? Nothing happened, right?" Although Wang Dia resented Lu Zixuan for beating her precious son, she also saw that it seemed that she didn't blame anyone for it. Besides, Tang Yinshan is the village chief, and if not handled properly, it may have an impact on him. It's not a big deal to send it to the county hospital. That's good, that's good. If something happens, I don't have anywhere to ask for money. Wang Dia breathed a sigh of relief and muttered, pinching a piece of potato to stop her mouth. Tang Yinshan picked up his wine glass and almost spilled it when he heard Wang Dia's words. He quickly put it in his mouth and secretly licked a drop of wine on the outer wall of the glass. He placed his glass on the table and said with a stern face, "What money do you want? I'll tell you, this is all for now. Don't make things difficult for Lu Zhiqing anymore." "Why? He hit my son and let him go like this. Why are you turning your elbow out?" Wang Dia was not afraid. Tang Yinshan lowered his chopsticks and squinted his eyes, raising his voice. "That's right, Dad. I've been beaten up like this. It's good if I didn't beat him up. I can't give him a discount." Tang Youcai didn't understand what his dad was doing. Isn't it that he loves Tang Bao the most? "Dad, you're the village chief. What are you afraid of? If he dares not lose money, let him sweep the cowshed. Tang Yuhui also shouted along. Shut up, everyone. Tang Yinshan's face darkened. Can you say this nonsense? One or two don't grow brains. After looking at Wang Dia, who was unhappy, Tang Yinshan slowed down his tone and said, that Lu Zhiqing is not simple. I suspect he may not be as simple as Zhiqing. What's going on? Wang Dia knew that her own man had an idea and would not let go of someone who would hit her son for no reason. As soon as we arrived at the county town, two friends who claimed to be Lu Zhiqing picked him up. Did you not take the person to the hospital? Wang Dia asked anxiously. Tang Yinshan poured another glass of wine and picked it up. Oh, what do you want to drink? Hurry up and say it. Wang Dia snatched the wine glass from Tang Yinshan's hand and put it aside. Tang Yinshan was so scared that he quickly protected his glass to prevent the wine from spilling out again. He didn't dare to make a fuss and said directly, you also know what I used to do. I knew at first glance that those two people must also be soldiers. What? Lu Zhiqing is a soldier. Why did he become an educated youth here? I didn't hear that even soldiers would go to the countryside. Wang Dia was shocked, and Tang Yinshan took the opportunity to grab a glass of wine and poured it into her mouth. You just need to know about this, but don't tell anyone about it, Tang Yinshan instructed. So, is this injury to our treasure worth it? Wang Dia felt reluctant. Otherwise, what else can we do? If Lu Zhiqing comes here with a mission, because of this failure, I won't be able to become the village chief. That's just a small matter. Besides, our family doesn't lack those $2. Wang Dia pouted, her family doesn't lack those $2, but she just can't swallow this breath. Immediately thinking of something, Tang Yuhui shook her head and glared at her. It's too small. That Lu Zhiqing looks like he's already around 20. 5. Tang Yuhui used to have a good meal, but why did her old lady suddenly give her a glare? She lowered her head and pulled at the rice, quickly drank the congee in the bowl. Wiped her mouth and ran away, afraid that the old lady would spread her anger on her. Little did she know that her life had already been denied by Wang Dia once. Tang Bao lay inside listening to the voices outside, with the beautiful and delicious face of Lu Zixuan floating in his mind. Thinking to himself, maybe he really got what his cheap father said. Such a strong medicinal effect is not something that ordinary people can resist. But what exactly happened at that time, and why was he there? Tang Bao rubbed his forehead, unable to remember anything at all. However, he initially speculated that someone might be trying to deal with that Lu Zixuan, and he just accidentally caught up. If I can't remember it, I won't think about it anymore. I have been spoiled by my mother since childhood and developed this casual nature. Otherwise, I wouldn't have accepted the fact that I became a poor child or a fool from a prince so quickly. After eating, Wang Dia returned to the house and took off her shoes before going up to the Kong. Mother! Tang Bao screamed and quickly called out to Wang Dia. What's wrong, Bao? Wang Dia's leg, which was in the pit, nervously looked at Tang Bao. Did the wound hurt again? What are you doing? Tang Bao sat up and asked, holding the blanket in his arms. At this moment, he couldn't help but dislike the smell of the blanket. It's okay for him to accept becoming a fool, it's okay for him to call out someone who looks the same as his mother, but it's okay for him to sleep with someone else. Absolutely not. Sleeping. Wang Dia didn't know why, didn't she always sleep with her precious son? When her family first built a house, Tang Bao had already been born, and Tang Yinshan had not yet had an accident. At that time, Tang Yinshan had saved up a lot of allowances in addition to daily expenses, so a total of 4 rooms were built. The elderly couple have 1 room, the 2 daughters have 1 room, and the 2 sons have 1 room each. Since Tang Bao became foolish, Wang Dia has been sleeping with him all along. Tang Bao looked at Wang Dia's mischievous toes crawling out of the hole in her socks. Just now, he was so scared that he even buttoned the edge of the bed, almost laughing. "Mom, you know I want to sleep on my own today, okay? Mom, I'm not targeting you, I'm just a bit afraid of sleeping with others." Tang Bao turned his expression pitifully and said to Wang Dia. "My poor treasure." Wang Dia suddenly felt heartbroken. Her treasure scared the damn Lu Zhiqing out of her wits. Okay, treasure, don't get excited. Mom is leaving now, you're leaving now. You can sleep on your own tonight." Wang Dia hugged her blanket and walked out step by step. When he arrived at the Tang Yinshan house, he threw the quilt onto the Kong and sat there angrily without making a sound. "What's going on?" Tang Yinshan's eyes lit up as he saw Wang Dia carrying a blanket in. He put the blanket away and asked, his back facing Wang Dia's mouth, and couldn't help but pull it away. "What are you asking? Why don't you want me to come back and sleep? Then I'll go sleep with Xiaojiang," Wang Dia said, reaching out for the blanket. Tang Yinshan sat up and grabbed Wang Dia's hand, saying, "What are you talking about? Hurry up and go to the Kong to sleep." Blush blushed, glared angrily but did not pull back her hand. Chapter 4. Lu Zhiqing comes to apologize. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Wang Dia left, Tang Bao finally felt at ease and touched the hard earthen Kong under his body, missing his soft big bed very much. "I thought I couldn't sleep, but my body was exhausted to the point where I quickly fell asleep." He dreamed that he had returned to the palace again, sitting in the pavilion with his mother in the shade. The mother looked at her affectionately and smiled, peeling the lychee and handing it to him. He reached out to pick it up, but the mother grew further and further away. Tang Bao panicked and stood up trying to grab the mother's hand, but it was in vain. Tang Bao wanted to shout and ask the Empress Mother to come back, but the Empress Mother still smiled and went away, but Tang Bao couldn't make a sound. Suddenly opening his eyes, there was still a low, pitch-black roof. Tang Bao gasped for breath and touched his neck. "It's a dream." Tang Bao looked out the window, the sky was dimly lit, not sure if it was just dark or just light. Tang Bao got up and walked to the table, poured a bowl of cold water and poured it down, and his whole body became much clearer. He heard someone talking outside the door, so he pushed the door open and went out. "Mother!" Tang Bao tentatively shouted. The courtyard wall is surrounded by fences, and two people stand at the entrance. One sounds like Wang Dia, while the other is tall and straight, but his face is unclear and his voice is unfamiliar. "Oh dear Bao, why did you wake up so early?" Wang Dia saw Tang Bao come out, stopped what she was saying, and quickly ran towards him. "I woke up from a nightmare." "Who are you talking to?" Tang Bao looked at Wang Dia, who had the same appearance as his mother, and took the initiative to grab her arm. Wang Dia was flattered and surprised. Last night, Tang Bao didn't sleep with her, and she even thought for a while, afraid that Tang Bao might end up with her if he wasn't foolish. Now it seems that she is still her treasure, a thoughtful little cotton jacket. Wang Dia's smile grew stronger as she pulled Tang Bao towards the entrance and said, "Who else can it be? That person surnamed Lu." Tang Bao raised his eyebrows, became interested, and his tired mind was completely clear. Upon arriving at the door, Tang Baokai could clearly see Lu Zixuan's face, which had lost the spring light of last night. His face was tense, his eyebrows furrowed, his facial features serious, and his aloofness gave off a feeling of unease. His tall and slender body blocked half of the door as he stood there, and Tang Bao felt a hint of authority from it, just like his father, causing him to involuntarily stand straight. Lu Zixuan across from him is also looking at Tang Bao. Despite being a rural child, he was raised in a white and pure state. At the age of 16 or 17, his height was measured up to his chest. Her long eyelashes flickered and trembled like butterfly wings, and her dark big eyes curiously stared at her. But how did he see a faint sadness in it? Thinking of what he had done last night, Lu Zixuan felt a bit uneasy and blushed slightly. However, he quickly adjusted his emotions and spoke up first. "You are Tang Bao, right?" The elegant and gentle voice emanated from two thin lips, making one feel refreshed and happy upon hearing it. "It's me." Tang Bao suddenly smiled, with a slightly childish voice that carried an innate good upbringing. Lu Zixuan was stunned for a moment before suddenly being dazed by Tang Bao's smile. However, as soon as I realized it, I coughed and said, "Well, I'm here to apologize. Yesterday's incident was not my intention, I'm sorry." Wang Dia didn't speak, just rolled her eyes. "Is there such an apology? Take nothing. You can also take 2 eggs. Lu Zixuan seemed to know Wang Dia's thoughts and took out a big unity sheet from his pocket, handing it to Tang Bao. "I just returned from the hospital this morning and didn't have time to go to the supply and marketing cooperative. You can take this money and buy some nutritional supplements first, and I will come to see you later." Lu Zixuan stared at Tang Bao without moving, observing every expression on his face. He didn't go to the hospital last night, but went to Mr. Wang's place. Wang Laozu was an imperial physician, and due to the turbulent situation, he happened to hide in this remote county town. He is skilled in medicine, not to mention the flesh and bones of the dead, but it is effortless to detoxify. Grandpa had a connection with him and knew that Lu Zixuan was coming here. He instructed him to go find Mr. Wang if he needed anything. When Wang Lao touched Lu Zixuan's pulse, he was immediately shocked and asked if he had his acupoint sealed by someone. Lu Zixuan didn't understand how to seal acupoints. Wang Lao told him that someone used internal strength to force the medicine in his body to a corner and seal it, slowing down the flow of the medicine and prolonging the duration of the attack. Otherwise, he would definitely not be able to hold on until now. Lu Zixuan still remembers the envy on Wang Lao's face and his admiration for the person who sealed the cave when he said these words. Lu Zixuan thought of Tang Bao, but the whole village knew that Tang Bao was a fool. Either he was pretending to be foolish, or he accidentally stumbled. Lu Zixuan was full of curiosity about Tang Bao, so he couldn't help but come over to investigate before dawn when he returned. He looked at Tang Bao and saw that de Tuan's eyes didn't fluctuate at all. He couldn't help but mutter to himself, was it really just a foolish mistake? Tang Bao naturally won't have any fluctuations. He has seen countless mountains of gold and silver for the princes of his country, let alone this great unity in his eyes like a piece of paper. He didn't move, but Wang Dia did. Wang Dia's eyes almost popped out of her eyes when she saw de Tuan. "That's 10 yuan. She thought this matter would just be settled, but she didn't expect the great unity from the heavens to make her dizzy. Wang Dia, like a starving tiger, snatched de Tuan Malu and stuffed it into her pants. She smiled as amiable as a spring breeze, and those who didn't know thought Lu Zixuan was her own son. "Look at you, this child. You came and paid me back. Although you injured my treasure, it's not entirely your fault." Wang Dia smiled brightly but had no intention of letting Lu Zixuan into the room. Nowadays, every family is in a difficult situation. Food is life, and one can't just give it to an outsider, let alone the person who beat her son. "Tang Bao, don't turn your face away. Is that all? It is absolutely impossible for her to be her dignified, virtuous, dignified, and generous mother." "Sure. Tang Bao, right. Do you remember how you got there last night?" Lu Zixuan politely asked Tang Bao. "I don't remember, I got hit in the head and I don't know anything," Tang Bao said foolishly. "You know, Lu Zhiqing. Before, my son couldn't remember things in his mind, and it was thanks to you that he suddenly opened his mind." Wang Dia was particularly happy when she mentioned this, thinking that her son had been blessed by the heavens. Lu Zixuan awkwardly twitched the corner of his mouth, it was not easy to answer. "Mother, the meal is ready." Tang Yuhui shouted from inside the room. I see. Shouting in the early morning, just a mouthful of porridge. Wang Dia shouted inside and said to Lu Zixuan, Lu Zhiqing, you don't know that you came here early and didn't cook anything. Why don't you come in and have a congee? No need, I've already eaten it. Looking at Wang Dia's gaze, Lu Zixuan felt like he was an eternal criminal who would indulge in food and drink if he stayed any longer. Lu. What's that? Tang Bao looked at Lu Zixuan's hasty departure with a smile, frowning and shouting loudly. Lu Zixuan. Lu Zixuan stopped and turned around. Yes, Lu Zixuan, I heard that a female educated youth wanted to detoxify you last night. Are you all so selfless in your dedication? What selfless dedication? Baonyang can tell you, there are many kind-hearted educated youth from the city, Wang Dia suddenly remembered, and Lu Zixuan also smiled awkwardly as an educated youth. I'm not talking about you, Lu Zhiqing. When I said that Shang Wenwen, you didn't see her. Yesterday, she kept trying to speak up for you and even volunteered to detoxify you. I think she probably missed you a long time ago. Wang Dia took Tang Bao's hand again and said anxiously, Bao, you've opened your mind this time. Stay away from Shang Wenwen, then you're not a good person. Lu Zixuan's face changed. He had not heard of this yet, and last night he was completely confused and didn't remember anything. Suddenly, she broke out in a cold sweat. If she were to detoxify her, then the only way would be to marry her. Perhaps that poison has something to do with her. I was accidentally bumped into by Tang Bao. I'm really scared after careful consideration. Lu Zixuan hurriedly left, he must investigate thoroughly. Lu Zixuan has never suffered such a loss since he was so old. Tang Baojian saw that Lu Zixuan had heard his words and took the old lady with the divine assistance back to the house to eat with satisfaction. Chapter 5. Tang Youcai and his wife fighting. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tang Bao looked in a good mood and the terrible food was much more pleasing to the eye than yesterday, and he even ate an extra bowl. Yang Hong pulled her face and muttered, Why aren't you stupid? You're even better at eating. As soon as Wang Dia put down her chopsticks and wanted to get angry, Tang Youcai said first, Eat your food. I can't even stop your mouth from eating. Yang Hong looked up in displeasure and saw Wang Dia's cannibalistic gaze. She shrunk her neck and retorted, swallowing it back. A high-ranking official can crush someone, but if you can't provoke them, you can't provoke them. Mother, the carpenter Zhang in the county is recruiting apprentices, and I want to give it a try, Tang Youcai continued after seeing Yang Hong calm down. Yang Hong, who had just calmed down, suddenly exploded again. Where are you going? Who knows if you're going to learn carpentry or if you want to meet someone? Unless I'm dead, you can't go to the city again. What are you daydreaming about? I'm not just for this family. Now that my little brother is well, it's time to get married. We can make more money and have a better life, right? Do you want me to spend my whole life digging in the dirt? Yang Hong's chopsticks trembled incessantly, her face flushed, her peach blossom eyes flushed, and tears swirled inside. Wang Dia glanced at Yang Hong and ignored her, saying, This is a good thing. When will you go? Tomorrow is. Don't go. I told you not to go. Yang Hong dropped her chopsticks and stood up, pointing at Tang Youcai with trembling lips and roaring. Tang Youcai didn't expect her to react so strongly, and he stood up with a cold face and said, Yang Hong, don't go too far. If you're dirty yourself, don't make others think dirty. I'm just going to learn carpentry. Yang Hong stumbled for 2 steps to stabilize her figure, becoming angry with embarrassment and shouting incoherently, I'm dirty. Do you think I'm dirty now? What did you do long ago? You didn't want to get married back then. Yang Hong's voice was loud, and there were already good things outside Tang Yinshan's house. She stretched her neck and looked inside. What's the situation with the village chief's family? Asked a newly married daughter-in-law curiously. What else could it be? His eldest son's little mess, the lady in the neighboring courtyard revealed her knowledge. It's a pity to say so. If it weren't for having such a wife, I'm afraid she would have stayed in the city at this time. It's not like that. Tang Youcai was one of the top students in school. I heard he got very close to a female classmate in their class. The old lady's daughter-in-law also followed suit, smashing her lips and handing a handful of melon seeds to the new daughter-in-law. The little daughter-in-law smiled and took the melon seeds and moved them towards the bottom of his house wall, asking, "Isn't that female classmate Yang Hong?" "Of course not, he's from the city. I heard that his father is still the principal of their school, but unfortunately, he has money and doesn't have that fate," the old lady said regretfully, but her eyes were full of schadenfreude. "He doesn't want such a good girl, why did he marry Yang Hong?" The little daughter-in-law became even more curious. Tang Bao inside the room was also curious and secretly asked Tang Youhui. "What is Big Brother wanting to marry Yang Hong? It seems like Big Brother has been drugged with Yang Hong and so on." Tang Youhui's shy face turned red as she stomped her foot and said, "Oh my. I'm not sure about the specifics. I was at school at the time, and they only came back when they got married. Didn't you stay at home all this time?" After speaking, Tang Youhui felt guilty and stuck out her tongue. Tang Bao was at home, but he was not a fool at that time. How could he possibly know which pot he didn't open and which one he didn't pick? Tang Youhui tilted her head and secretly glanced at Tang Bao to see if he was angry, but saw that Tang Bao looked at Yang Hong with some thought. "Second brother, what are you looking at?" Tang Youhui followed suit and saw nothing except Yang Hong, who was furious. "Perhaps. It's not like that." "Interesting." Tang Bao withdrew his gaze and gave Tang Youhui a mysterious smile. Tang Youhui was swayed by her second brother's smile, being careful not to get dirty and jump around. Fortunately, this was her second brother. "What kind?" Tang Youhui swallowed and asked. "What do children know?" Tang Bao tapped Tang Youhui's head. Others say that it was Yang Hong who gave Tang Youcai the medicine in the beginning, but just now he observed that Yang Hong was both ashamed and angry, except for not feeling guilty. Perhaps there was another hidden truth behind it. "All right." Tang Yinshan took a strong breath, finished his dry cigarette, threw the cigarette root on the ground, stepped on it and stood up and said. Tang Yinshan's voice was not loud but successfully made the enraged Tang Youcai and his wife stop. "What's all the fuss about? Aren't people watching the excitement outside? Are you still feeling embarrassed at home?" Tang Yinshan walked over and closed the door, causing the onlookers outside to disperse in unison. The village chief is angry, and they dare not continue to look. Curiosity is not important for work, and besides, they have watched the stories of Chen Sesame and Rotten Millet once or twice. Tang Yinshan entered the house, and Yang Hong squatted on the ground, bowing her head to wipe away tears. Tang Youcai stood with his back to Yang Hong, holding her chest in frustration. "In theory, this is something between you young couple. As a father-in-law, I shouldn't say much." Tang Yinshan sat down and lit another cigarette, then took a few puffs and slowly opened his mouth. "But things have already happened, and you have been married for so many years, can't you live a good life?" "Boss, wife, we won't talk about what happened back then. Boss, since we married you, you are my Tang family's wife, so you can keep your heart in your heart." "Dad," I said, "it's really not me." Yang Hong looked up at Tang Yinshan, tears streaming down her face, her expression almost hopeless. Tang Yinshan's face remained expressionless, but he felt a bit unhappy in his heart. Why did Yang Hong emphasize that it was not the medicine she prescribed, even though he had already said the old thing without mentioning it? Back then, my eldest son and his female classmate were in love and had a bright future. Who else could have done such a thing except for Yang Hong? Yang Hong comes from a poor family and does odd jobs at school. The biggest beneficiary of this is her. She said no, but Tang Yinshan really doesn't believe it. All right. Everyone calm down, it doesn't matter whether it's okay or not. Get up first, boss and daughter. Law. Wang Dia couldn't bear to see Yang Hong crying and stepped forward to help her. Yang Hong wiped away her tears and stood up, watching as Wang Dia pulled a warm stream through her rough palm. Although the mother.in.law and daughter.in.law may seem at odds, Yang Hong knows Wang Dia's temperament and has never treated herself as an outsider. That's also why every argument ends with her cowardice, not because she's really cowardly, but because she respects this mother.in.law from the bottom of her heart. Boss, we'll be grabbing the harvest soon. If you go to your home in the county town, there's nothing you can do. Let's wait until after the autumn harvest. But mother. Tang Youcai was unwilling to lose this opportunity like this. He is a person who has attended high school and has a broad vision. He is unwilling to spend his whole life just living in the village. As for that person, I heard that she has already gotten married and had children, and they are already people from two different worlds. He really doesn't have that kind of mindset, it's all Yang Hong's daydreams. I can't speak well, what's wrong? Your younger brother is enlightened now. If you keep talking, let him learn. Wang Dia glared at Tang Youcai and made a decision. Upon hearing about his situation, Tang Bao quickly ran over and grabbed Wang Dia's arm to act coquettishly. Mom, I'm not going. I don't want to leave you, aren't I going to snatch it? I have to work for you at home, don't you dare to exhaust my father and you too. Bao will feel sorry. Wang Dia's face was full of anger and instantly disappeared without a trace. She put on a smiling face and looked at Tang Youcai with disdain. Do you see that? This is my thoughtful little cotton jacket, you little brat knows how to anger me. Tang Youcai had a dark expression on his face, afraid that he might not have picked it up. Sister-in-law, after learning carpentry, big brother can take you to the city to live a good life. Why don't you want to? Tang Bao asked a meaningful question, which seemed carefree and unintentional, but woke up Tang Yinshan and his son. Yang Hong glanced at Tang Bao unexpectedly and lowered her head without saying a word. Tang Yinshan and his son exchanged a glance, did they really wrongly accuse Yang Hong? But it doesn't make sense. If it were Yang Hong, how could she be willing to live in the countryside with Tang Youcai? If it weren't for her, who else could it be? Tang Youcai couldn't figure it out, but his attitude towards Yang Hong softened. Alright, no matter how old you are, you know how to cry. I won't go, it's just a pity for this opportunity. Tang Youcai sighed and still didn't want to miss this opportunity. I will work hard to earn a job, Yang Hong said, bending down to tidy up the dishes. Shall we tidy up, hurry up and wash your face. Don't go out. People think I'm a mother.in.law who's abusing you. Wang Dia took the bowl and chopsticks from Yang Hong's hand and put them back, pushing her back into the room. Tang Youhui willingly tidied up the dishes, but Tang Bao ran over to help, only to break a bowl. Tang Youhui's mouth twitched in pain, and this was Tang Bao. If it were two people, her mother would have started cursing long ago, and Tang Youhui would have driven him away directly. Chapter 6. Morning Encounter. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 7. Kicking Wang Hohat. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tang Bao felt sweet as he touched the egg in his pocket. Although he had arrived in this poor and distant place, he still had a mother who loved him and loved him equally. Yang Hong came out and saw Wang Dia secretly stuffing eggs for Tang Bao, but today she didn't say anything and obediently went out with her head down. Tang Youhui went to school today, bid farewell to everyone at the village entrance, and got on the ox cart in the county town. Tangjia village has a lot of land, all backed by mountains and water. Starting today, it has officially entered the stage of grabbing land. As the sun rises, the bell for work rings, and the production team's loudspeaker begins to play the song, "Commune is a Sunflower," in a loop. People gradually walked out of their homes and greeted each other loudly. Number 34, "Oh, isn't the sun coming out from the west today? Is Tang Bao also here to work?" Number 34, the famous shrew in the village, Widow Wang, saw Wang Dia leading Tang Bao over, and the sarcasm at the corners of her mouth almost became substantive. She shouted in a strange and sinister manner from a long distance. Wang Dia and Wang Widow are the most difficult to deal with, and when they were young, they all looked down upon. They all come from the neighboring Wangjia village. Back then, they were the two most beautiful flowers in the village, and many young men couldn't help but beg for them. Back then, Widow Wang Hohat was betrothed to Tang Yinshan in Tangjia village. At that time, Tang Yinshan was having a bright future in the army. Widow Wang even claimed to be a military relative and displayed herself in front of Wang Dia, with a nose up all day long. Later, Tang Yinshan was demobilized and became a poor farmer digging for food in the fields. Wang Hohat began to despise him and colluded with Tang Dahai. Tang Dahai works at a timber factory in the county town, with a fixed salary and allocated housing. But she has already been engaged to Tang Yinshan, and her mother has specified that she will not return the engagement gift. And she has already been secretly entangled with Tang Dahai, so she won't be able to hide it for long. Wang Hohat and Tang Dahai together wanted to send Wang Dia to Tang Yinshan's bed, so that Wang Hohat could withdraw from the wedding without having to cancel her engagement. But their plan was sabotaged by the joint efforts of Wang Dia and Tang Yinshan. In the end, the marriage was abandoned, but it was the marriage of Wang Hohat, who had retired from Tang Yinshan. But Tang Yinshan and Wang Dia looked right at each other and eventually got together. Later on, Tang Dahai had an accident while working, and Wang Hohat became a widow with her 3-year-old son Tang Xiaojiang. However, Wang Dia got better and better, and even Tang Yinshan became the village chief. Wang Hohat felt that it was Wang Dia who took everything that should have belonged to her, and harbored resentment against Wang Dia everywhere. Finally, Tang Dia gave birth to a silly son, which made her feel more comfortable. However, these days she heard that the silly son was not foolish anymore. How could this not make her angry? So the export was full of sarcasm. Will Wang Dia be afraid of her? Of course not. No matter how good my son is, he will be an obedient treasure. Unlike some people who don't teach him well to have a son and sneak around all day, it's not far from eating peanuts. Wang Hohat's smile froze on her face, and she suddenly became furious. Wang Dia, who are you talking about? Say it again, see if I don't tear your mouth apart. Wang Hohat rushed towards Wang Dia, and everyone didn't stop her. She had already seen no strange things, and every time Wang Hohat couldn't get along well. Others are not used to it. Tang Bao subconsciously thought someone was going to assassinate his mother, so he kicked Wang Hohat back. Everyone was confused, Wang Dia was confused, even Wang Hohat, who was kicked out, was also confused. The air remained quiet for a few seconds, and then everyone burst into laughter. Wang Dia straightened her chest and looked up at Yurongyang. Wang Hohat screamed as she sat on the ground and splashed. Oh my! I hit someone, my waist is so big, it's amazing. The son of the village head's family has bullied us orphans and widows. Subconsciously, everyone thought that Tang Bao was still a fool and that Wang Hohat was making a big fuss, which was to mislead people. Everyone stood a little further away from her. Tang Xiaojiang stood in the crowd and didn't care about Wang Hohat, as if he had been accustomed to all of this. He just stared at Tang Bao with malice. Tang Bao felt a poisonous gaze and looked up but couldn't find it. What are you doing standing there without doing any work? Tang Yinshan walked over with a cold face, his brows furrowed even deeper as he saw Wang Hohat and his wife. Wang Hohat suddenly stopped crying when Tang Yinshan walked over. She took advantage of the situation and secretly tugged at the crumpled hem of her clothes, gathering her somewhat messy hair without any trace. Her eyes lit up and she looked at Tang Yinshan with shyness. Tang Yinshan was startled by her gaze, and she quickly glanced at her own mother-in-law to wash his eyes. Tang Xiaojiang then walked out of the crowd and helped Wang Hohot up, silently blocking her gaze towards Tang Yinshan with his head down. Wang Hohot felt the low pressure on her son's body and then restrained her gaze. Village chief, even if Tang Bao is your son, he can't kick my mother casually. If he's really stupid, we won't care. But he's very clear-headed now, let alone my mother is still his elder. Tang Dehai and Tang Yinshan are the same ancestor. In terms of seniority, Tang Bao also needs to call Wang Hohot auntie. Tang Yinshan remained calm in his face, thinking about how to remove his own son. With a flick of his eye, he saw Tang Bao pinching his thigh a few times, and tears welled up in his eyes. Tang Yinshan's eye twitched. What is this child doing? He remained calm and waited for his own son to perform. Mom! Help! She's coming over again. She's going to tug at Bao's clothes again, she's going to touch Bao again. Bao's so scared. Mom, hurry up and beat her away, it's so scary. Tang Bao sat on the ground with tears in his eyes, holding on to Wang Dia's leg without letting go. Wang Dia squatted down in pain and hugged Tang Bao, who was trembling all over, crying and cursing. You despicable person who was struck by lightning. Even though you knew my treasure was scared, you rushed over like a mother tiger. God knows how scared my poor treasure is in his heart. Let alone kick you, I wish I could tear you apart. Upon hearing this, everyone remembered Tang Bao's experience and showed sympathetic expressions. Isn't that right? I was right in front of her when Wang Hohot suddenly pounced like a fierce god. Not to mention Tang Bao, even I was startled. Wang Dia's close friend, the old lady, deliberately said loudly. No wonder Tang Bao reacted so badly. He must have been scared by Lu Zhiqing that day. Poor Tang Bao Duo is so obedient to a child, he was scared into this. When it comes to that Lu Zhiqing. The person immediately changed his mind when he caught a glimpse of Lu Zixuan beside him, that Lu Zhiqing was also unlucky. He was just tricked. The little daughter-in-law who was talking to her did not see Lu Zixuan and continued to shout happily, what bad luck is he? If Tang Bao were a girl, he wouldn't be accused of being a hooligan and eating peanuts. He has accumulated virtue from his ancestors. That person remained quietly away from the little daughter-in-law, who was unaware and still expressing her own opinions. If you say this person is too excellent, it's not enough. If someone thinks about him, it's probably the same Shang Zhiqing. Didn't you see that Shang Zhiqing was so positive that day? I wish I could just talk to Lu Zhiqing right away. The little daughter-in-law reached out to pull at the person but couldn't find it. When she turned around, she saw that Lu Zixuan was staring inside with a cold face. She immediately stopped talking, smiled a few times, and walked out of the crowd to watch the excitement in a different place. Wang Hohot, you also know about Tang Bao's situation. After all, it's still your fault for suddenly rushing over. You don't have much to worry about, why don't you just forget it and don't delay the big guy's work? Time is very tight now. The village chief Tang Jiawang impatiently said, holding a cigarette bag in his mouth. Oh my goodness! I can't live anymore. You all bully us orphans and widows one by one. Jiang, we should have followed your father back then. Upon hearing this, Wang Hohot immediately sat on the ground, patting her thighs and crying, completely ignoring her image. Chapter 8. I heard I scared you. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tang Jiawang's face was almost wrinkled as he listened, both angry and helpless. He was most afraid of such an unreasonable woman. Tang Yinshan stared at his own son with great interest, wanting to see what he would do next. who knew Tang Bao didn't react at all, he just kept hiding in Wang Daya's arms. Wang Daya felt heartbroken for her son and thought of herself in the beginning, which made her feel sad. My poor child. My mother was already being calculated before, and now you are being calculated again. How come our lives are so hard? Who the hell is killing me? Oh my goodness, open your eyes and strike him with lightning. Upon hearing this, everyone began to discuss again. When was Aunt Wang calculated? That was many years ago, when she hadn't married into our Tang family village yet. Widow Wang and her. The old man who knew the inside story spoke vividly. After listening, everyone couldn't help but sigh. Fortunately, the village chief and his team were clever at the time, otherwise Widow Wang really succeeded. This Tang Bao is not counted as being calculated, didn't he happen to pass by? That's not what Tang Bao said. Why did he go there for no reason? It's all old houses with no one to live in, and he doesn't usually see anyone go there. Yeah, could someone have led Tang Bao over? That designated person is from our village. Don't be fooled by Tang Baoshan, he won't walk with strangers. The person seemed to have discovered the truth and immediately became excited. Right, and that medicine. We only have it from Doctor Hu in our village. If you ask me, I should go there and investigate carefully. You wouldn't doubt Doctor Hu, would you? Someone asked with a surprised expression on their face. How could it be? We still don't know who Doctor Hu is, we just want to see if there are any clues left by drug thieves there. Tang Xiaojiang listened to all the discussions in his ears. He had originally lowered his head and didn't know what he was thinking, but now he seemed to have regained his senses and grabbed Widow Wang. Mom! Are you feeling embarrassed enough to get up? Widow Wang was forcefully pulled up by him and stumbled twice, almost falling again. I was so surprised that I almost forgot to pretend to cry. Didn't my son usually cry with her? Why did he feel embarrassed today? Widow Wang stopped crying on this side, but on the other side, Daya Wang was really sad, tears streaming down her face, muttering and criticizing. Tang Yinshan saw that Wang Daya was really crying, so he hurriedly went over to coax others and glared at Tang Bao behind Wang Daya. Damn it, you can't even coax a mother well. Tang Bao touched his nose and stood up with his head down. Tang Yinshan comforted Wang Daya and said with a stern face, one is my daughter.in.law and the other is my son. Today, this matter is at the mercy of a prosperous family. After speaking, step back and stand in front of Wang Daya. Tang Jiawang was almost cursing his mother in his heart, speaking grandly, not afraid of dealing with the unreasonable Widow Wang. Tang Jiawang can only grit his head, who would let this reason leave people speechless. Tang Jiawang coughed twice and took a step forward, saying, what's the big deal? What's the fuss? I haven't seen when it's been, and it's delayed in grabbing what you've been waiting for. Tang Jiawang made things a small matter as soon as he came up, and Tang Xiaojiang's eyes flashed with malice. Old man, after all, he still favors the Tang Yinshan family. The malice in Tang Xiaojiang's eyes flashed away, but it caught Tang Bao's attention. This gaze. As I felt before, so it was Tang Xiaojiang who was watching him before. But why? Just because he kicked his mother. No, Tang Xiaojiang looked at himself with a murderous intent in his eyes. Tang Bao shivered coldly. What reason can make a person feel suicidal? It's normal for the villagers to have conflicts, and there's not much hatred. It's not so serious as to kill someone, is it? Bao, are you cold? Wang Daya felt her son tremble a bit and asked with concern. Tang Bao shook his head and remained silent, hiding the expression on his face and secretly observing Tang Xiaojiang. Secretary, what do you think should be done? Is it true that my mother was beaten? My mother has such a hot temper, maybe she left a bit hasty and got kicked. Tang Xiaojiang's voice was devoid of any waves, unable to hear any joy or anger. Isn't your mother okay too? Tang Zhawang murmured and continued, so what do you say? My mother will definitely go to Doctor Hu's house later, so please give me 50 cents. Xiang, why are you? Wang Hohot was about to explode when she heard her son only wanted 50 cents, but was stopped by Tang Xiaojiang's gaze. Tang Zhawang was also taken aback. He didn't expect Tang Xiaojiang to be so talkative today. Doctor Hu only charges 20 cents for medical treatment, but Tang Xiaojiang really doesn't charge much. Wang Dia also wondered in her heart, did these two women change their personalities today? But just because Wang Hohot scared her precious son, she didn't want to give a penny. Wang Dia looked at her own man with a pitiful expression and said, forget it. Who made him the village chief? Give him 5 cents, then give him 5 cents. Wang Dia was about to pay when Tang Bao held her hand. Mother, I'm afraid. I can't eat or sleep. As soon as I see her, I'm so scared that I can't walk. Sigh. Tang Bao said and squeezed his mother's eyes. Lu Zixuan, who was in the crowd, saw the corner of his mouth hooked and went to work with a sickle. His assigned place was a bit far away, and if he continued to procrastinate, he might not be able to finish it today. Upon hearing Tang Bao's words, Wang Dia instantly understood and gave her precious son an appreciative look. Turning around, her face was already filled with tears. My son kicked you and paid for your medical expenses, that's right. I'll give you 50 cents. The onlookers never expected that the usually penniless Wang Dia would be willing to pay, but before they could finish sighing, Wang Dia continued to speak. But what if my son was scared by you? The year before last, my second uncle's sister-in-law and cousin's child in Wangjia village had a high fever that never subsided after being scared. Everyone nodded, is this Wang Dia? How could she have taken the money so easily? Aren't you going to find Doctor Hu? Let's go together. Wang Dia said, standing up and patting the soil on her buttocks, holding Tang Bao in a posture of leaving. Forget it, let's just treat us as unlucky. That's it. Let's not take anyone's money, Tang Xiaojiang said, pulling Wang Hohot out of the crowd reluctantly. Xiang, what are you afraid of? That fool is fine at first glance. I can't get this kick for nothing. Mother. I said this matter is over now. Tang Xiaojiang said impatiently. Well, that's good. Tang Xiaojiang became angry, but Wang Hohot still felt a bit scared. As soon as they left, everyone surrounded Wang Dia and chattered, squeezing Tang Yinshan and Tang Zhawang out. In the end, Tang Yinshan couldn't help but shout, what are you doing? You're not doing any work anymore. Hurry up and get back to work. If you procrastinate, the scorer will deduct your work points. As soon as everyone heard that they were going to deduct their work points, they immediately dispersed with agricultural tools. Wang Dia trimmed her hair and gave Tang Yinshan a appreciative look, then pulled Tang Baoqiao towards the land he had allocated for his family. Upon receiving Wang Dia's gaze, Tang Yinshan immediately felt happy and returned to the village committee with Tang Zhawang in a lively manner. Tang Zhawang was amused by his appearance, making him unable to laugh or cry. Bao, just sit here and eat and drink some water. When it's hot, go back on your own. Wang Dia handed Tang Bao the food and water jar and went to work on her own. Tang Bao looked at Wang Dia's hard work and was willing to help, but his body was not up to par. Besides, he also had to familiarize himself with the environment around Tang family village today. After sitting for a while and seeing Wang Dia completely focused on her work, she got up and started wandering around nearby. The land in Tangjia village is planted with the most corn, and the area is vast, leaving only one person-wide path for people to pass through. The tall corn stalks are taller than humans, and walking inside feels a bit eerie. The heavy corn on the corn stalk curved slightly downwards, much like the guards on both sides when he returned to the palace before. Tang Bao's thoughts were a bit erratic, as he lowered his head and walked, thinking about the past. He didn't even pay attention to the sudden enlightenment ahead. Number 34, bang. Number 34, Tang Bao suddenly bumped into a meat wall and fell backwards. He just snapped out of his senses, panicked and unable to stand still. The ground was covered in the leftover corn stalks, and if he fell on it, he would have to poke a few blood holes. Tang Bao's face turned pale, he closed his eyes and bit his lips tightly, afraid to see his next miserable situation. Suddenly, a pair of warm and powerful hands grabbed his arm and pulled him back. Tang Bao twirled and pressed his hands against the man's chest. Looking up, it turned out to be Lu Zixuan, whose big hand was still tightly gripping his arm. From the palm of his hand came a clear heartbeat from Lu Zixuan, his perfect chin hanging low and his thin lips lightly pursed, looking at him seriously. Tang Bao felt as if his eyes were an endless abyss with suction, unable to see to the bottom, inhaling everything he saw, unable to extricate himself. Lu Zixuan looked down at the person in his arms, it was him again. Lu Zixuan saw Tang Bao's head wrapped in gauze and his face turned pale. Taking advantage of the fact that his bitten lips were even more delicate and dripping, he suddenly felt a little heartbroken and unconsciously exerted more force on his hands. "You quickly let go of me, I didn't break it and you had to break your arm." The pain in his arm made Tang Bao wake up and push Lu Zixuan away with force, but he didn't push. Lu Zixuan also reacted and quickly let go. "What are you doing here? The fields are full of stubble. Don't think about anything else when walking." Lu Zixuan bent down to pick up the discarded sickle and began cutting corn stalks again. I saw Lu Zixuan's muscles bulging, and he exerted force on his hand. With a flick of his sickle, he cut through the corn stalks as easily as cutting tofu. Then, he threw the cut corn stalks onto the nearby pile of corn stalks. Tang Bao looked at Lu Zixuan, who was sweating profusely, and his fingers were a bit disobedient. He quickly inserted his hand into his pocket and touched the 2 eggs that Wang had given him. "Here you are." Tang Bao took out 2 eggs and stuffed them into Lu Zixuan's hand, then turned around and left. "Tang Bao!" Lu Zixuan shouted. Tang Bao stopped but did not turn back. "I heard I scared you." There was a hint of playfulness in Lu Zixuan's tone. Tang Bao stumbled and almost fell, so he quickly ran away. Lu Zixuan looked at Tang Bao's disheveled figure and felt the temperature of the egg in his hand, with a big smile on his lips. Chapter 9. Encountering Shang Wenwen and Tang Xiaojiang. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tang Bao ran a long distance in one breath before stopping to catch his pounding heart and gasp for breath. "It's really frustrating," he seems to have been teased by Lu Zixuan. Looking around, Tang Bao realized that this was not his way when he came. Where is the road? Where is home? He actually got lost. Go back. No, he doesn't want to see that guy Lu Zixuan again. He's definitely a black sesame filling. The road ahead cannot be called a road, it's just a small path formed by the weeds being trampled down, as if it has been newly stepped on by someone. As long as there was someone around, Tang Bao picked up a dead branch on the ground and walked down the path, hoping to meet the villagers and follow them back. The forest was quiet, with occasional bird calls. Not long after walking, Tang Bao was sweating profusely and had difficulty breathing. He had to sit down and rest, once again determined to exercise his body. Sitting there with a gust of wind blowing, he vaguely heard the sound of words, perhaps too far away to hear clearly. Tang Bao was overjoyed and walked towards the direction of the wind. "You let go of me," a restrained and angry voice said. Tang Bao quickly stopped and lost the thought of greeting him, because he felt that the voice seemed to be from Shang Wenwen. He crawled forward in the grass until he could see the 2 ahead clearly. Tang Bao slowed down his breath and gazed intently. Good guy, it was Shang Wenwen, and the other one was actually Tang Xiaojiang. Tang Xiaojiang pulled Shang Wenwen's wrist, but Shang Wenwen struggled to break free. With a tearful tone, she said, "Xiaojiang, you hurt me." Tang Xiaojiang couldn't bear to see the beauty shed tears, so he let go of his hand and complained, Wenwen, you know I love you more than I do myself. I listen to you everything. But why are you going to provoke that little white face from Zixuan? Tang Xiaojiang became emotional again as he spoke, grabbing Shang Wenwen's shoulder. Tang Xiaojiang turned his back to Tang Bao, who couldn't see the expression on his face clearly. But it was clear that Shang Wenwen was pretending to be calm. Her lips were bitten to the point where there was no blood left. Poor Tang Xiaojiang was grabbing hard. Not daring to gaze at Tang Xiaojiang, the panicked eyes and trembling hands all indicate that Shang Wenwen is very scared at this moment. I don't have it. I just doubt his identity, so let me test it. Shang Wenwen spoke loudly, but Tang Bao could tell that she lacked confidence. Test. What kind of medicine are you using? I think you just want to have sex with him, right? Are you interested in that little white face? Ha! Tang Xiaojiang was almost crazy, vigorously shaking Shang Wenwen. No, I don't. Xiaojiang, please calm down. If I really think that way, why would I still lure Tang Bao? Shang Wenwen shouted, trying to calm Tang Xiaojiang down. Are you serious? Tang Xiaojiang stopped with a look of ecstasy and asked cautiously. Of course it's true. If it weren't for him being a fool, I wouldn't have chosen him. Unfortunately, he's a man, otherwise Zixuan would have died. Shang Wenwen said this in her mouth, but in her heart, she hated Tang Bao extremely. If it weren't for him biting the gold halfway, she would have achieved good things long ago, and then she could get rid of Tang Xiaojiang, this pervert. Xiaojiang, Tang Bao saw me that night. Now he's not stupid, what should I do? Shang Wenwen's eyes turned to let Tang Xiaojiang deal with Tang Bao. Who would believe what he said as a fool? Don't worry, if it doesn't work out, just let him shut up forever. Tang Bao is so tempted to curse at his mother, he is truly the most poisonous to women's hearts. Wenwen, you know me. I can give you my life, but I can't tolerate betrayal. You're mine, don't think about other men, otherwise I can't help but kill you. Tang Xiaojiang slowly drew the outline of Shang Wenwen's face with one hand, and suddenly pinched her chin and said calmly. Although her tone was perfectly normal, Shang Wenwen's hair stood on end as she listened, her teeth trembling and tears streaming down her face. No, I won't do it. Shang Wenwen's tone even carried a hint of pleading. Be good. Don't cry, I'll feel sorry. Tang Xiaojiang lowered his head and bit into his pale lips. Tang Bao couldn't bear to see their kissing and chattering. He turned his head but met a pair of red eyes. I'll go. What a big rabbit. Rabbit, you must be stable. Tang Bao silently prayed with a thud in his heart, and it was obvious that the rabbit brother did not receive Tang Bao's prayer. He tilted his head and glanced at Tang Bao, then suddenly darted out. This damn rabbit. Tang Bao stared fixedly at Tang Xiaojiang not far away through the cracks in the weeds, holding onto the wooden stick with one hand and grabbing a nearby stone with the other. Who? Tang Xiaojiang stopped taking off Shang Wenwen's clothes and picked up a stone on the ground, walking towards Tang Bao. Shang Wenwen has a feeling of surviving a disaster. Regardless of who she is grateful to her 8th-generation ancestors, and later she will try to make Tang Xiaojiang act lightly. Tang Xiaojiang breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that it was a rabbit, but the flames had not spread out and he felt uncomfortable. He hated the rabbit for not coming at the right time and raised his hand to fiercely smash the stone at the rabbit. When Shang Wenwen came over, she saw the scene of the rabbit's brain bursting from being smashed. She was so scared that she took a few steps back and trembled, saying, Xiaojiang, let's go back quickly. We're afraid of being discovered later. Being interrupted by a rabbit, Tang Xiaojiang lost interest. He lifted the rabbit's leg with one hand and pulled Shang Wenwen back with the other. Tang Bao lay there, afraid to move at all. The old rabbit looked down, his crimson eyes fixed on Tang Bao, gradually moving away. Tang Bao's fur stood on end when the rabbit looked at him, as if the rabbit was saying, "You're the next one." After a while, Tang Bao trembled and got up, rubbing his sore legs, limping towards the direction where Tang Xiaojiang and the others had left. If possible, he also wants to stay far away from Tang Xiaojiang and the others, but he doesn't know the way back to the village. As he was walking, someone suddenly pulled him up and he stumbled down the road. There is a dirt pit next to the road, and when it falls, its body is immediately covered by weeds. His head was touched by his big hand, but it still hurt. Tang Bao struggled to get up, but when he turned around, he saw the person bullying him and pressing him down. The bright sun was shining brightly on his head, and Tang Bao's face was blurred by the sunlight in this direction. "Shoo!" The man immediately covered Tang Bao's mouth with his other hand when he saw him about to speak. After being within reach, Tang Bao finally saw his face clearly and it turned out to be Lu Zixuan. Tang Bao immediately relaxed and blinked, indicating that he knew. Lu Zixuan slowly moved his hand away, rubbed his hands with nowhere else, and clenched his fist against the side of Tang Bao's head. With a slight force, he propped up his body and the two of them distanced themselves. Tang Bao was a bit puzzled by how Lu Zixuan came here, and he didn't wear a coat. When he met him before, his coat was placed next to the corn cob. Without much thought, footsteps could already be heard on the path above. "I'll just say nobody, you're too careful," was Shang Wenwen's voice. "There's no best, let's go." The sound of footsteps faded away, and Tang Bao looked up at Lu Zixuan, suddenly realizing that their current posture was a bit indescribable. Lu Zixuan placed one hand on Tang Bao's head and the other hand on one side of Tang Bao's head, enveloping him like a child and pressing him to the ground. Tang Bao looked at Lu Zixuan's bulging arms and quickly put his hands on his chest to prevent Lu Zixuan from pressing down due to exhaustion. "Hi, what a coincidence, hee." Tang Bao said with a dry smile, which was somewhat pleasing. Lu Zixuan didn't answer, lowered his head and stared at Tang Bao. Sweat dripped from his hair on Tang Bao's face, and Tang Bao was scalded and aroused. Lu Zixuan stood up expressionless. "Why are you still so foolish?" Tang Baozheng got up with both hands and feet, almost falling back when he heard Lu Zixuan's words. This time he was angry. "How dare you scold him for being foolish? Is he stupid? My mother once said that he is the most intelligent. Break off the friendship." But the original owner was indeed foolish, and he was not wrong either. Tang Bao looked like a deflated ball, drooping his head and head. He got up and walked away with a stick, not even looking at Lu Zixuan. Lu Zixuan found Tang Bao's ever-changing expression extremely interesting, and then saw that Tang Bao could no longer hold his expression in the direction he was walking. He lowered his head and raised his hand to pinch his forehead, then raised his head to restore his original state. "Tang Bao." "What?" Tang Bao turned around and glared angrily at Lu Zixuan, secretly deciding that if Lu Zixuan laughed at him again, he would. Tang Bao looked at the stick in his hand. But he didn't want what Lu Zixuan said to make him want to find a crack in the ground and crawl in. "That's the way to Wangjia village, this is the way back to the village." Lu Zixuan pointed in the opposite direction. Tang Bao stomped the ground hard with his stick and gritted his teeth, saying, "Don't I know? I want you to keep talking. I originally wanted to go to Grandma's house, but now I'm not going." Chapter 10. Helping Lu Zixuan drag down Doctor Who. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Zixuan quickly followed Tang Bao, who was limping. Tang Bao. Tang Bao ignored him. Tang Bao. Tang Bao snorted. Tang Bao. Lu Zixuan reached out and grabbed his arm. "What are you doing?" Tang Bao shook him off and took 2 steps back to distance himself, saying, "If you have anything to say, just say it. What's the point of pulling and pulling? What kind of tradition is it? Will being hit on the head really change so much? Lu Zixuan stared at Tang Bao carefully, trying to find some differences. But whether it's his appearance, clothing, or even the injury on his head, it proves that this is the Tang Bao he injured. If we talk about the difference, it means that those big black and white eyes have become much more agile than before, causing a revolutionary change in the overall temperament of the person. Tang Bao felt uneasy when he saw him, but on his face, he looked at him as if nothing had happened. Stay calm, don't panic. Even with his keen eyes, it was impossible for him to notice that this body had changed its core. Lu Zixuan took the lead in retracting his gaze. It was his innocent eyes that made him repeatedly feel like he was bullying someone. Tang Baoru relieved his burden and turned around to leave, with Lu Zixuan following behind. Tang Bao, can you do me a favor? What's up? Tang Bao stopped and turned to look at him, his big eyes flickering in surprise. What can Lu Zixuan do for him? You know what happened that day. I was drugged and only doctor who in our village has this medicine. Tang Bao continued to walk without answering, knowing that Lu Zixuan's next words were the key. Lu Zixuan also saw Tang Bao's attentive appearance and secretly praised him for not being foolish but also being very intelligent. Lu Zixuan straightened his face and said, I asked Doctor Hu, but he said his medicine is not lacking. No less. Tang Bao was a bit surprised. With Doctor Hu's prestige in the village, even if the medicine came from him, as long as he said it was lost, no one would suspect him. But why did he say there was no shortage? Are you really there, or are you covering for that person? You don't believe it, Tang Bao said confidently. Well, at first I also suspected that the person who prescribed the medicine was buying it from outside, which would make it even more difficult to check. But one day, I accidentally discovered that Doctor Hu had gone to Tang Xiaojiang's house. Perhaps someone in his family is sick. No, Widow Wang was not at home that day, and shortly after Doctor Hu left, Tang Xiaojiang left the village. By the way, I just heard something. Lu Zixuan mentioned Tang Xiaojiang, and Tang Bao suddenly remembered what he had overheard earlier. He told Lu Zixuan about it, but of course, he automatically skipped the glamorous part. So there's no doubt that the medicine was prescribed by Shang Wenwen. Lu Zixuan pondered for a moment and said, Tang Bao, can you help me lure Doctor Hu away for 10 minutes? Doctor Hu is the only doctor in the village, with monthly subsidies and work points, so he doesn't have to work. And when he had no patients, he often stayed at home without going out. Hold him down. Do you want to search his house? Well, I always feel like there might be some clues in his family. Tang Bao suddenly looked at him with a foolish gaze, and Lu Zixuan looked left and right in confusion and asked, what's wrong? I know he has 2 watchdog dogs at home, they are very fierce. If I drag his people, can you enter? Even if you enter, when the dog barks, the neighbors will not even treat you as a drug thief. Lu Zixuan clenched his fist and coughed twice against his lips, forgetting about it. Is there anything you can do? Lu Zixuan asked without even thinking. I'm a fool. Tang Baobai glanced at him. Lu Zixuan choked for a moment. Is this the current world newspaper? What he said before has now been used. Tang Bao didn't want to make things difficult for him either, after all, he was also a victim and wanted to catch the person who drugged him. He dared to plan against this palace, and his life was boring. It's not difficult either. I'll take you to his house and try to hold him back. As for whether you can find something, it's up to you. Okay, although it's a bit difficult, as long as you can get in, it's enough, Lu Zixuan nodded and agreed. Tang Bao gritted his teeth and suddenly gave himself a hard slap on the back of the head, causing him to scream in pain. You! Lu Zixuan was startled when he saw that the gauze on his head was bleeding again. Mother! Before Lu Zixuan could speak, Tang Bao's eyes were filled with tears as he cried and rushed towards Wang, who was working ahead. Lu Zixuan's hand froze in mid-air and he struggled to lower it. He couldn't believe his eyes. Is it certain that he's still the same Tang Bao? Isn't it that the actors have taken over? However, he underestimated Tang Bao's ruthlessness, and the slap made him feel painful. It seems that he doesn't know Tang Bao at all, he's getting more and more interesting. Good baby, run slowly and be careful of the dirt on the ground. Wang Dia heard Tang Bao cry and quickly threw away the corn cob in her hand. She turned around and saw Tang Bao running over, scared, and shouted loudly. Mother, it hurts. Tang Bao ran to Wang Dia and stretched his head out. Oh my God, what's going on? Let's go quickly. My mother will take you to Doctor Hu's house. Wang Dia was so scared when she saw the blood oozing from Tang Bao's head that she threw a sickle and held Tang Bao's head as if the sky had collapsed. Mother, take him over, this is what he did. Tang Bao pointed to Lu Zixuan who had just arrived. Lu Zixuan's head is covered in black lines, can he explain? You're such a little white face. I was kind enough to let you go before, but you came to harm my family again. Don't run away. You must give me an explanation today. Mother. I hurt. Tang Bao quickly shouted when he saw his old mother tilting the building. Oh my treasure, don't be afraid, we'll go find Doctor Hu right now. Wang Dia supported Tang Bao with one hand and grabbed Lu Zixuan with the other, running towards Doctor Hu's house like an old ox. Lu Zixuan looked at Tang Bao helplessly, and Tang Bao grinned. He was so proud. Doctor Hu, come out and save me. Before reaching Doctor Hu's doorstep, Wang Dia shouted hard. Doctor Hu seemed to be eating, with grains of rice on his lips and his shoes on backwards. He ran out and asked, what's going on? What's going on? After shouting, Doctor Hu looked around and didn't see any injured people. The three of them stood there with great spirits, their hearts racing back to their stomachs, and finally put on their shoes without hesitation. Doctor Hu, please show me Bao, his head is bleeding again. Doctor Hu is not in a hurry, Wang Dia is in a hurry. He pulled Tang Bao forward and didn't forget to pull Lu Zixuan. Doctor Hu glanced at Tang Bao's head and said, it's okay, maybe the wound has cracked. Just change the gauze later. Doctor Hu's house has 2 rooms, one for receiving patients and the other for living by himself. After Doctor Hu finished speaking, he led 3 people into the room on the left to receive patients. Mother. Everyone blames him. I want revenge. Tang Bao grabbed the small cup on the table and threw it at Lu Zixuan as soon as he entered the room. Lu Zixuan instinctively wanted to avoid it, but his mind was reborn and he was hit hard. What are you doing? Lu Zixuan was furious in his dress. Hit you. Kill you bad guy. Oh my cup. Doctor Hu turned around and saw his beloved cup lying on the ground in pieces, while Tang Bao was holding on to the other eye as he watched it fall. Feeling heartbroken, he threw the gauze back and rushed over to grab the cup from Tang Bao's hand. It's so inexplicable. Don't think your father can do whatever he wants just because he's the village chief. This is 10 yuan enough for you to see a doctor, I won't accompany you anymore. Lu Zixuan threw out a big unity card and turned around to leave, obviously angry. Don't leave. Mom, hurry up and bring him back. Let Doctor Hu stab him to death. Bao, it's not urgent. He can't run. Let's take a look at the wound first. Tang Bao was grabbed by Wang Dia on one arm, while the other hand was tightly gripping the cup. Doctor Hu advised Tang Bao, but his subordinates forcefully broke his hand. Tang Bao's fingers were hurting from being stabbed by him, and he was almost bald. Lu Zixuan, it's up to you. Poor little tender hand. Ouch. It really hurts. Close the door quickly, close the door quickly. Tang Bao had already raised his hand and eyes as he was about to throw a cup at Lu Zixuan's back, so frightened that Doctor Hu shouted at Wang Dia. Wang Dia let go of Tang Bao and slammed the door shut. Tang Bao couldn't see Lu Zixuan and felt aggrieved. Mother. You don't like Bao anymore. Tang Bao Pao pounded the door and cried loudly. Doctor Hu took the opportunity to grab the cup and breathed a big sigh of relief. He bought this cup from the county town, it's only 1.5 yuan per cup. Bao Guai, after changing the medicine, the mother will take you to find that little white face. Wang Dia wiped away the runny nose and tears from Tang Bao's face and gently comforted him. Doctor Hu hid the cup and took the medicine box. I was puzzled, didn't I say Tang Bao wasn't foolish? It doesn't seem like that today. Also, how could a person who has been foolish for over a decade say that if they are not foolish, they are not foolish? It is mostly promoted by Wang Dia. Thinking that Tang Bao was also at the age of marriage, he felt relieved. It seems that one's own plan can be postponed for a while. If Tang Bao continues like this, there is no need to take action. After all, he is the son of the village chief, and if something happens, it is inevitable to pull out the radish and bring out the mud. Thinking about this, Doctor Hu's smile became much more sincere. He held the gauze and coaxed the child, saying, Tang Bao Guai, after changing the gauze, how about giving you sugar balls to eat? Is it the white sugar ball that Guzi ate? Tang Bao rolled his eyes in his heart, but his face was smirked as he asked. That's right, that's right. Doctor Hu's mouth twitched, he was undoubtedly a fool. Okay then, Tang Bao compromised. Doctor Hu reached out to untie the gauze on Tang Bao's head, and Tang Bao dodged. Doctor Hu looked at Tang Bao with a puzzled expression in his eyes. I want to. Tang Bao said with a serious expression as he stared at Doctor Hu. Doctor Hu laughed heartily for a moment and said, Here are 3 for you. After that, he reached out to untie the gauze again. No. Just 2. Tang Bao stubbornly said and dodged, with a strong posture of not letting you understand if you don't agree. Okay. Hurry up and change the gauze, it should stick to the wound later. This time Tang Bao didn't hide anymore. Doctor Hu gently lifted the gauze and his expression became much more serious. He didn't expect Tang Bao's wound to crack so severely. The wound is too wide to be sutured before it can be bandaged. Doctor Hu turned to Wang Dia. What? Wang Dia rolled her eyes and almost fainted. I don't want stitches. Tang Bao started to make a fuss, as if frightened. Bao, be obedient, just sew it up quickly. Although Wang Dia felt sorry for her son's suffering, she also knew that the wound had to be sewn up to heal. Doctor Hu took out his razor and wanted to shave his hair first. Tang Bao regretted that he had hit too hard and was disturbed by him. His head started to bleed again, and soon he felt a bit dizzy. Lu Zixuan, are you okay? Let me give you a message. If I drag on any longer, I won't be able to keep my hair. If you dare to shave my hair, I'll. Tang Bao walked around the table, avoiding Doctor Hu. After a while, he didn't say anything, but his body shook a bit. Bao. I beg you, let Doctor Hu take a look. Wang Dia was really crying now, and her obedient Bao's face became whiter and whiter. At this moment, there was a slight commotion coming from the next door, and Doctor Hu raised his eyebrows as he was about to open the door and go out. Shave it. Tang Bao grabbed Doctor Hu's neck and said. Doctor Hu hesitated and said, Tang Bao, wait a moment. I'll go next door and take a look. There seems to have been some movement just now. Wang Dia stopped working, and her son finally agreed. If Doctor Hu goes out and comes back, what if his son doesn't let him shave again? No way, Doctor Hu. Bao finally agreed. What's nice about your shabby house? It must be a wild cat or something, otherwise your 2 dogs would have barked long ago. Doctor Hu thought about it and turned back to shave Tang Bao's head. But he forgot that the person he brought in was not bitten by his dog.